Welcome to Pangaea, Vladimir Kozin. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Jenny.
I will start with my first questions.
Yes, please.
The US Army signed a first contract with Lockheed Martin on November 6th for the production of ground-based medium-range missiles to be installed also in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
A well-known US expert claimed that the US Army intends to equip its Air Force only with a conventional warhead-equipped missile with a range unable to hit Moscow.
Mm-hmm.
And that there are no plans to equip the missile with a nuclear warhead. What is your opinion on this issue?
Well, Jenny, thank you very much. Mille grazie for your question. Look, you're absolutely right. Last month, November 6th, this year, Lockheed Martin Corporation and the United States Army signed a special contract to develop and produce really a new medium-range missile prototype, initially prototype. Prototype usually consists of launchers, missiles, and a battery operations center. So it's a combination of various military tools. It is to be fielded by December 2023 as a maximum. And it's a combination, this prototype is a combination of the two missiles used by the US Navy, namely Standard Missile 6 and famous Tomahawk cruise missiles. Right you are. Some experts claimed that the new missile would have conventional warheads only. But if you look through at the second slide of mine, number 2, this newly born medium-range ground-based missiles will be nuclear-tipped. And I cataloged 5 reasons or 5 explanations why they shouldn't be conventional, do not have conventional warheads. Well, first of all, when I examined open sources for this piece of news, especially in the United States, from various circles, from various news agencies, and from Lockheed Martin Corporation, I realized that up to now, the maximum firing distance for the new missile is being concealed. It's not open for the general public. But to my surprise, I came across 2 ranges mentioned in the information papers for mass media. Well, the first information says that this new missile will fly from 500 kilometers up to 2,000 kilometers. And the second option was from 500 kilometers to 1,800 kilometers maximum range. So if these missiles are deployed or are fielded very close to our territory, they will hit the central part of the Russian Federation, including Moscow. For example, if they are deployed in Poland or in Romania or somewhere else in the NATO countries. The second reason, I noticed that some US officials claimed that such missiles will have strategic capabilities. Strategic capabilities, I put in a quotation marks, that, look, will change the paradigm against advanced adversaries like Russia, will change everything in the European and
Sorry, I
Pacific
have to
theaters
interrupt
of
you.
operation.
Vladimir
Yes,
Petrovich,
please.
I have to interrupt you because the line somehow went away and your last sentence was not very well audible. So please do repeat your last sentence about.
Sure, I will repeat. Okay. So my second reason is that according to the US officials, new missiles will have strategic capabilities. And I put wording strategic capabilities. It's not my wording. It's the wording of the US officials. Strategic capabilities in the quotation marks, that they say that they will change the paradigm against advanced adversaries like Russia and the People's Republic of China. And those missiles, rockets, will change everything in the European and Pacific theaters of operation. So if we assume that the warheads are conventional, how can they change strategic equation, strategic balance in the third reason? Constantly, now ex-US Defense Secretary Mark Esper made some remarks before his retirement. He made some remarks at the Atlantic Council exactly October 20th this year. He said that new US nuclear medium-range missiles with the nuclear warheads will be deployed in the Asia-Pacific region and in Europe. Number 4, from the US strategic perspective, it will be irrational to equip such new missiles with conventional warheads, because I have already explained. And the final brush in this particular case, a number of the US experts knowing very well this issue have claimed that the new missile will have nuclear warhead, not conventional one. And I put some sources on my slides. You can just verify very easily. Yes, next question, please, Jenny.
The United States withdrew from the INF Treaty and accused Russia of deliberating violating it. According to the United States and NATO, Russia has deployed a ground-based missile, 9M729, of the prohibited category by the treaty. What is Russia's response to this accusation?
Yeah, we will not accept this kind of accusations or this kind of information, simply because that the rocket under question, you, Jenny, absolutely rightly have mentioned, 9M like Mama 729, or in parentheses, in NATO designation, it is SSC-8 or Sierra Sierra Charlie 8. It's a medium. It's not even a medium range missile. It's less than shorter range missile, simply because its maximum range is up to 480 kilometers as a maximum, and it is impossible to add some fuel tanks or replace the engine in the field during, for example, any military operation. So we get this missile as it is from production plants. So it's impossible to upgrade its major characteristics. And I have to remind you and the esteemed audience that the INF, Intermediate Nuclear Forces Treaty, ranges start from 500 kilometers. Between 500 kilometers and 1,000 kilometers, those missiles are referred as shorter range missiles. And as I said earlier, from 1,000 to 500 to 5,500 kilometers, they are called medium-range missiles. Beyond 5,500, that's intermediate, intercontinental range missiles. So to this question, I have to add, who has violated the INF Treaty in 1999 up to 2019, and in what way? I borrowed this information from purely American official sources, mainly from Missile Defense Agency, a body of the Pentagon. And during this 20 years of using for testing missile defense efficiency, the Pentagon used 108 flight tests of the INF missiles, naturally in the form of a dummy or mock missiles, not real, not with nuclear warheads. And in some cases, in some tests, there were a group, a cluster of such missiles, dummy missiles used as a real target to be intercepted by missile defense system. And according to this, the other figure, yes, the quantity of the INF missiles used in flight tests climbed up to 117
again, the quantity,
pieces.
please, please repeat from the
Yeah,
quantity of
yes.
INF missiles.
Yes. We have another figure, very impressive, that the quantity of the INF missiles used during flight tests is up to 117 pieces. What about Russia? 0, 0 in these two cases. If you put the same question about number of flight tests or quantity of the INF missiles used during this test, you will see 0, because we have been faithfully committed to the INF Treaty and never violated it. And on the other hand, the opposite number, Washington, the United States, so far has not proved such figures on our side. But unfortunately, many scholars still in the West specifically blame us for alleged violation of the INF treaty. Next question, please.
Now, President Putin reaffirmed that INF treaty validity, calling the US withdrawal a big mistake, and proposed a mutual moratorium and mutual verification measures to NATO countries and reciprocal inspections of missile installations. What was NATO's response?
Yes, unfortunately, both the United States of America and NATO as organization, a response was negative from the very beginning. So actually, these two sides, the United States alone and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, just have not accepted our offer on moratorium. And they gave immediate answer. It's very suspicious. Why so? Why so quickly? Why not examining the material fiber of this initiative? Yes. What about the next administration in the United States that inevitably will be headed by Joe Biden, according to various figures collected so far, and the date of inauguration set for January 20th next year. Joe Biden will unlikely revive the INF Treaty in its old form. There are some speculations that the new administration might talk about the drafting of the new INF treaty, but I personally doubt very seriously, because if, according to Mark Esper, U.S. ex-defense secretary of the United States, will deploy nuclear-tipped medium-range missiles, land-based, in Europe or in Asia-Pacific, it means that the decision has been made. The decision has been made, and it's very difficult for the U.S. military and political leaders to backtrack, to go the opposite direction. So usually the United States of America, when it withdrew from any arms control treaties, they never returned to the same treaty. And yes, and the next question, please, Jenny.
Of course. What will Russia do if the United States would install ground-based medium-range nuclear missiles in Europe?
Yeah, it's like a caveat, if I correctly pronounce a famous Latin word. Caveat, yeah? Caveat, yeah. So Russia's response to the deployment of these missiles will be adequate to the new US-NATO strategic threat. This threat will be imminent. It will be very high. It will be aimed at the heart and the brain of the Russian Federation. And we will definitely, in peacetime, we put our missiles aiming at this launching sites, launching pads for the newly produced US missiles, like they have been mentioned in the contract signed between Lockheed Martin Corporation and the US Army. So we will also pinpoint our missiles, our delivery systems to the command and control centers in case of emergency during wartime, God forbids.
Of course.
So, but instead, we should tackle this issue in a comprehensive way, rather than resort to action, counteraction, counter-reaction, etc., etc., because the risk of unleashing an all-out nuclear war is very high today. It's much higher than we have experienced during the Cold War time. It could be due to mass calculation, due to accident, due to madness, and due to intentional plans and schemes. So I will probably offer you some time for extra questions, if you so desire, if we really have some time. So Jenny, go ahead, please.
Well, there's just one question. I've seen it on your fourth file. What do you mean by emergency? How would you describe emergency?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Thank you very much, Jenny. Emergency situation, it's a situation when military confrontation or exchange of nuclear warheads between two nuclear giants in the world, namely the United States of America and the Russian Federation, is very close to it. So we will watch specific preparations. For example, when a group of US heavy strategic bombers equipped with free-fall nuclear bombs or air-launched cruise missiles, also nuclear-tipped, are amassed in Europe, like we seen last summer, when 6 US heavy bombers approached very closely to our territory in the Baltic Sea area and in the Black Sea area, and in the Russian Far Eastern part. When we see a lot of nuclear-powered strategic submarines equipped with nuclear ballistic missiles are sent to the world oceans, and when also the third leg of the US strategic triad, namely ICBMs or intercontinental ballistic missiles, are on full alert and ready to be lifted off. So there are some other specific features of the preparation for war, and we have to be vigilant. And I ask a lot of people of goodwill to be vigilant to all these preparations of waging any kind of nuclear war, be it limited, regional, or global. Evil is in all these at all these stages. There will be no limited or no regional war. It will be only an all-out war, 100% global, involving all other countries who are absolutely innocent. They do not have nuclear capabilities, and they are not going to have them. Jenny?
Just one last very short question.
Yes. Yeah, please.
Just in case something happens, in your defensive scheme, do you foresee to hit European bases, European, US, and NATO bases?
Jenny, our leaders have already responded to this issue, to this question. Yes, we will target this kind of centers of the United States located in Europe as well.
Okay.
Because these centers are part and parcel of the overall command and control and battle management and communication system of the warfighting machine of the United States. We cannot destroy just only 10% of its capabilities and leaving intact all others who are helping to wage this global nuclear catastrophe. That's why, well, the only solution, which is very cheap, very easy to attain, is for all 9 declared or non-declared but nuclear weapon states to be committed to no first use or to no first strike of nuclear weapons against each other, totally, either on the bilateral basis, one versus the other one, or multilaterally as a cluster, as a multilateral international accord on no first use or no first strike. There is no difference between them. So it's very cheap and it's very easy. It will require no money, no destruction, no sacking the respective military personnel from naval facilities and engineers from nuclear production plants. But nevertheless, it will be, as I really believe, will be a very good and very important step forward in the right direction. What is the right direction? To get the nuclearized world, the sooner the better. The sooner the better. And to eliminate this menace, like we all actually nations all over the world banned chemical warfare weapons and biological, bacteriological arms. So we have to eradicate nuclear capabilities for good, irreversibly, then verifiably, definitely, and finally. So to liberate our planet from this nuclear menace that is still hanging over our heads. Thank you.
Thank you, Vladimir. Thank you very much. I think it's very satisfactory. The brilliant for your replies and your honesty. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure, Jenny. Thank you very much indeed for your questions and for your intention to arrange this kind of conversation. And Maya, mille grazie for your technical assistance.
Per maggiori informazioni visita il sito www.cngnn.it e sostienici per un mondo senza guerre.